Hey y'all, I'm here and I'm going to sew up a rainbow dress collar with you today. Here's my lining piece. I chose to do a lightweight interfacing on it, and here's my main piece, no interfacing on that one. I'm going to put them right sides together, and the main collar is going to be slightly bigger than the lining collar. So what we're going to do is pin it at each end, matching these two corners. And as you can see, here's my main. It's a little bit bigger. So we're going to have to ease that in. I just usually lay it down and move the edges to where they match. It will slightly gather your main piece to your lining, but not so much that you will actually get any gathers or pleating. There we go. You want to do it nice and evenly. If you put all of the extra fabric in one spot, you will get a gather. So you want to evenly spread it through the whole curve. I'm going to sew mine on my serger. If you're a beginner, I highly recommend sewing it on your sewing machine. It goes a lot slower and it's easier to control this curve. Since I've been sewing quite a while, I'm going to tackle it on my serger because it has the right color thread. As you can see, my main is still bigger than my lining. I like to put my main on the bottom because those feed dogs will naturally help ease in the bottom fabric. It's 1/4 inch seam allowance, so the easing should be a little bit easier. That's why I have that smaller seam allowance there. Nice and slow around this curve. Keep my seam allowance nice and even. There we go. So as you can see, here's my main. It's just a little poofy is what it looks like. Here's my lining. And you can see no gathering or pleating. It's just a little poofy is what it looks like. And now what we're going to do is turn it right sides out. And we're going to align the remaining raw edges. So I'm going to throw a couple pins in. These curves are the same. The main is not larger than this one, except for what we have already sewn. So right here and right here. And what that does, you can see even as I just finger press it, is the main will wrap around to the back. And so what that does is when you're wearing it, it just hides the lining that it wraps under just a tiny bit. It's about 1/8 inch. It wraps around the back so that you don't see that lining ever. Also helps your collar lay smoothly instead of flipping up this way. So it'll help it lay smoothly because it wraps around to the back, pulls it back to the bottom. So I'm going to run a basting stitch right here on my regular machine. A basting stitch is the longest straight stitch that your machine does. Most machines do a 5 stitch length. So that's what mine does and what I am sewing right now. Again, just matching these raw edges. Go. Okay, there we have it. A nice, beautiful collar. And it wraps around to the edge just a tiny bit to make sure that lining stays tucked under there. And that seam is also tucked under and not visible. So you have a nice, really clean finish on the front. This needs a really good press, and you can top stitch it if you like the look of top stitching. If not, the lining being smaller should hold this nice and beautifully in place. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope it helps if you've never eased in a collar, main, and lining before. And I can't wait to see your rainbow dress with the collar option. Don't forget to share with us. Bye y'all.